Yes, I, a grown man, have purchased and played the Princess Peach video game. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Today, I want to give my honest review of Princess Peach Showtime. Considering the fact that it's been about 18 years since the princess got her own game, I was quite excited to see what Nintendo was cooking up. When Princess Peach Showtime was first revealed in a Nintendo Direct, I was very intrigued by the style and direction the game was going in, so I remained excited and optimistic about the game up until release day. Now that the game has been out for a good while, and I've had some time to actually complete it and form my own thoughts, let's jump in to my honest review of Princess Peach Showtime. For this review, I'm going to split it up into three major sections. The first being the plot / setting / music / postgame, pretty much all the stuff I didn't really have a lot to say about. The second being the gameplay, and the last being performance. With that being said, let's start the show. To start, I want to talk about the plot of this game. As you would assume, this being a game set in the Mario universe, the plot here isn't all that deep. However, to my surprise, the plot somehow managed to be even less deep. Allow me to explain. The plot of this game centers around Princess Peach traveling to the Sparkle Theater. Once she arrives, the theater is attacked by the mysterious Madame Grape. In order to save the theater and free it from Madame Grape and the Sour Bunch, Peach, with the help of the theater's guardian Stella, must don the roles of the many theater performances. That's pretty much it. Now I do want to mention how much I enjoy the fact that Peach has gotten her own villain to complement her. However, while I was playing the game, I felt very disconnected from the main villain. Grape barely makes any appearances, and when she does, it's very brief and only to introduce a boss. Grape also lacked any apparent motivation, so I actually had to look up on the internet her motivation, because even though I completed this game, it was not made clear through the dialogue. Apparently, her only motivation was to have the stories being performed in the theater end in tragedy. Suffice it to say, while I wasn't going into the game expecting Kingdom Hearts level of storytelling, I was hoping for a little bit more than we got. Something on par with Luigi's Mansion 3 would have been ideal. I do quick want to mention how much I love the little Theet NPCs. I think they're really cute, and I enjoy their addition to the Mario universe. Even though the plot was bare bones, I did really enjoy the theater setting that this game takes place in. I was impressed with how the devs really made each of the plays feel like they were a theater production. The lighting and environments really made everything feel immersive. Overall, I think that a theater setting fits Peach's personality and character really well. I was, however, kind of bummed by the music in this game. There are very few tracks in this game that I genuinely liked. Other than that, the rest of the soundtrack just wasn't my vibe. Aside from a couple tracks, I didn't feel it was very exciting. I'm not saying here that I dislike atmospheric soundtracks, like, I feel Breath of the Wild does a fantastic job at this, but there were exciting and epic moments in this game that I was kind of waiting for the music to pick up, but it didn't. Now, I understand music is probably the most subjective part about any form of media, so I won't dog on it too much. All I'm saying is that it wasn't really my vibe. I do really like the tracks that play for Kung Fu Peach and Mermaid Peach though. The last part of this section I wanted to touch on is the post game, which, believe it or not, this game has. The worst part is, it's really boring. Each level has collectible green sparkle gems, which you can, at the end, exchange for decorations around the theater. I actually really like this as it gives you something to do with those gems, and kinda influences you to get them all. There also is a boss replay mode that adds objectives to the boss fight, which I think should have just been implemented from the get-go, but the challenges were actually a bit tough, so I appreciated the extra layer of difficulty. The last bit of post-game is given to playing hide and seek with the hidden ninja Theets in each of the stages, which force you to replay each and every stage. This got very annoying very fast, and the reward at the end isn't even that good. Overall, it was a waste of time. I appreciated that this game included a post-game, but was underwhelmed and annoyed by it. For the next section of this video, I want to talk about the gameplay. I do want to make it clear that going into this game, I was aware that it was made with small children in mind, so it wasn't going to reach the complexities of many of the games made for my demographic. However, even for a kid's game, the controls are extremely simple, and the difficulty is pretty much non-existent. The controls boil down to run to the right of the screen, press A to jump, and B for whatever action you have available. There was so much potential for the devs to use all the buttons in fun and unique ways, and still make it accessible for kids, but they kinda just did the bare minimum. I will also say that Peach does not feel good to control. Nintendo has prided themselves for having some of the most satisfying and enjoyable games to control, but for some reason Peach is super janky to control. The game is not fun when you're not able to be precise and intentional with your movements, and makes the game very uncomfortable to play. I'm not going to be too harsh on the difficulty because it's my personal belief that games do not need to be hard for them to be fun. It is very clear that the devs were targeting 5-year-olds when making this game. I would have really appreciated if the devs took the time to make Peach feel good to control both in and out of costume, and if they would have offered a hard mode to satisfy those who are looking for more of a challenge. Speaking of the costumes, I do genuinely enjoy Peach's main ability in this game, which is the ability to take on the roles of the many different stage plays. I love all the different plays that Peach is thrown into. From cowgirl to ninja to figure skater to a detective, the princess has done it all. Each stage is very detailed and atmospheric. They really threw all of their creativity into these levels, and I love that they all do something a little different. For instance, the mermaid stages have you play a little rhythm game, and the superhero stages have you fly in space, punching bad guys. I enjoyed pretty much every stage, but their fun level was brought down by the oversimplified and janky controls. I do real quick want to give my ranking of all the roles that Peach takes on, so here it is. I will give credit to the boss fights, which I thought were all pretty fun and had interesting mechanics. I also loved how all the bosses were based off of common equipment used in theater, so as a tech nerd, I appreciated that and got a little chuckle out of some of the puns used for the boss names. Overall, I'm 50-50 in the gameplay department. I think this game does a lot in terms of the abilities you get through the different roles, and the boss fights are pretty fun too, but the game fails to make fun and engaging controls and physics, and suffers from being made for 5-year-olds instead of making the game accessible for people of all ages. The last thing I want to mention in this video is the performance. This is probably the area of the game that I was most disappointed by. Princess Peach Showtime performs very poorly, even by Nintendo standards. Now, first let me address that I am aware the Switch is over 7 years old at this point, but I don't think that that is a good excuse for it to run and look as poor as it does. I will be the last person to complain about most Switch games being capped at 30 frames per second, but Princess Peach Showtime fluctuates in the frame rate a lot, making the whole game feel very choppy. Even in cutscenes, the game is chugging. The game is also not that visually impressive. While I was playing, I noticed very pixelated textures and a lot of stair-stepping. Going into this game, I was really hoping for Luigi's Mansion 3 levels of visuals and frame rate. Personally, I'm not that bothered by frame rates and texture quality, but while playing this game, its technical issues were extremely bothersome and hindered my enjoyment of this game. At the end of the day, Princess Peach Showtime ended up being just okay. There were quite a few things I enjoyed about this game, however, in this case, the negatives outweigh the positives in my opinion. With that being said, it is very difficult for me to recommend this game, especially considering the game was released at a full $60. If you are even mildly interested in this game, just check out the demo on the eShop. It's not very good, but it at least gives you a taste of what this game has. I give Princess Peach Showtime a 5 out of 10, just okay. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like these kind of videos and want to see more, I would really appreciate if you would crush that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications. That way, you never miss when I upload or stream. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about Princess Peach Showtime down in the comments below. And with that being said, I've been King from Kingdom Studios, and I hope you all have a legendary rest of your day.
Right from the start, something said to a